on your fingertips, it's a pretty much hands-on experience. You don't have to think about which modulator is going where and which source is active. What you see is what you see here. And this makes this thing really powerful if you want to create yourself. So we had the sound quality issue and we had the simple to use issue. Let's go for the special things. One special thing is all these envelopes in here have not only a normal classical envelope mode where you say, okay, I started and it goes through and it stops. We have also looping modes. Actually, we have 3 different loop modes. One mode which is just labeled loop. This loop mode is completely out of sync with song tempo. It just repeats once the loop reached its end position. There's a time, and after this period of time, it loops back to the beginning. This is perfect for creating things like string pads, which are constantly modulating. You hold the key, and the loop goes like this, and the volume is adjusting. And because it's FM synthesis, you got different overtones. This is great for creating complex textures. I have a nice sound example how this works out if you really push it into the extreme. This sound, where is it? Here. The sound you will hear now is a complex modulation of all envelopes. So each envelope in here will repeat with its own rate, including the pitch envelope and the filter envelope, and the sound is pretty, well, natural. So welcome to the operator, secret world of operator. This can go on forever. It's not very musical, but it shows you what's possible. And maybe some of you even find it musical. I do personally. This oscillators, so we had the loop mode. Loop means it repeats independently from song tempo. We also have beat mode, and beat mode is very simple. It just repeats with the rate here. So you press a key, and 1/16th note later, this oscillator will trigger again. The thing is, if you're in beat mode and you just play, and you're not in sync with the song itself, you're staying offbeat. This is interesting if you're really a good player and you know what you do, but if you just play these things and you're not exactly on time, the repetitions will stay offbeat through the whole process. To make it accessible for people like me who are lost without quantization, we have the sync mode. The sync mode actually just hard syncs the repetition of the envelope to song tempo and song beat time, so nothing can go wrong. I show you an example of what's possible with that. With a filterism. So one key, you see it's repeating. We have more of these things. Let's go to a more complex one, sync to slave, yeah. That was good. There's another parameter I didn't explain, another special small feature. It's the time knob. The time knob does nothing more but scaling all rates of all envelopes simultaneously. What is it good for? Well, in this example, it's good for reshaping the sound. Usually, it's just good for having a smart and simple and easy to access control over things like decay of a sound. I show it in a nice example. Let's go back to the snare. Where's the snare? Here's the snare. This snare, if you look at it, it's this oscillator is modulated by all these oscillators, and we have a pitch envelope and we have a low pass filter. And if you look at these things, you see It's based on a sine wave which has a fixed frequency of 134 Hertz, and it's modulated with a noise waveform, and it's not modulated with another sine wave, and it's, well, this one is actually not active because volume is set to 0, so it doesn't make any difference. Each of these things has its own envelope. This one is like this. This one is a little bit shorter to get a snappy thing at the beginning of the snare, and this one is a little bit longer to get, well, the body of the snare. And the pitch envelope also is a very sharp at the beginning, and let's see the filter. The filter is also, yeah, something like that. So if you would like to have this snare a little bit more percussive or a little bit more decaying, you usually would adjust all these parameters. Going here, adjust, going here, adjust, adjust. And finally you figure out, it was not what I wanted to have, and you put it back. The time control solves this problem for us. So if you can play a few times a snare, I play with the time control. We got a very short one. That's a very powerful control. And of course, all these controls, like this one, and everything else here, including the structure control, can be automated. So you can create a rhythmical sequence where the sequencer is turning all these knobs at the same time, and you can go completely crazy. I think we are almost through the secrets of this instrument. Maybe a few more interesting details. A parameter which is a request from our tech support guy, Christian Kleine, and which I found immediately intriguing once he told me, is this little detail. This detail here allows you to route velocity to the frequency of an oscillator. And it allows to do this in two different ways: quantized or non-quantized. Let me give you, at the end of the demonstration, a short example what this can do. I hope I can manage in this period of time. I just create a short sequence of notes. Let's draw some notes in here. Here we go. And we are adjusting velocity. And we play this, but not with the snare sound. But instead of, I'm using the factory settings and create a sound which so now we're just hearing the boring sine wave. Let's get rid of the envelope a little bit. Okay, so this is the sine wave, and we modulate it with another one. Okay, and this one actually we make this one we now assign to velocity, so the sound changes with velocity. I just put up here level of this thing to velocity. Okay, this is something you could do with, I think, basically every FM synth on this planet. But what I'm doing now is I'm turning this knob, the chorus frequency kind of thing, and I did it manually now, and now I do it with velocity. So you see, it can go pretty weird, but still it's harmonic because it's quantized to even harmonics. If I turn this quantized button off, you got really percussive, really strange textural things, inharmonic things. Or if I do it slightly with this one, only just a little bit, I got a detuning as a function of velocity. Let's just do it a little bit. Or go completely crazy. And the last thing, because we're running out of time, is the spread parameter. The spread parameter is evil. It is evil because it eats two voices and pens one voice to the left side of the stereo image and the other one to the right side, and is slightly detuning these two voices. It's an expensive parameter, but I love it. Let's go for it. You got immediately this kind of rich choral thing kind of thing. Okay, I'm pretty sure I missed a lot of details in there. There's plenty of room for discovering things by yourself, so I end up with a few nice details. You can get rid of the detail view, so you have more space for putting in more effects or MIDI effects in front of it, or you can open the info view and you mouse over any parameter and you get a short explanation of what it does. We tried to make the explanation as short as possible and as informative as possible. So I hope that something is in there for complete beginners as well as for an expert. For instance, if you go over AirTag level, it tells you that this is the time the node needs to go from start level to peak level. This is something which everyone who is a little bit into envelopes would say, oh yeah, sure, I know that. The other thing is, this segment has a linear scaling. So, okay, you see it on the graph, but what you see is one thing, what it really does internally is the other thing. So we try to have information here of every parameter which is useful for beginners and for experts, making it simple to use this thing. I'm almost through it. It's $149 US or 129 euros. It works within Live. Every parameter can be automated. And this is something which is, it's good that it's within Live, because if I open up the parameter list here, you can see all the names of the parameters, and if I close the list, you see it's shortening to a very small parameter, like here we go. It's A quantize, and the long parameter name is oscillator frequency A is quantized by velocity. All these little details which makes it easy to understand what's going on. Or if I go to envelope mode and I adjust the envelope mode, you can really see now I'm in sync mode, I'm in beat mode, I'm in loop mode, I'm in no repeat mode at all. So it's fully integrated into Live, and that's it. Thank you.